Do you know that architects are not simply artists? Beside drafting building designs and putting decoration together, they also have to deal with the technical sides and the programmings of designing. There are constantly evolving materials and construction method out there that architects need to learn. And also, unlike many vocations, you can be your own boss of your own one-person shop. You can be your own firm of one and still be a viable service provider for almost any size project. You can even enter contests and win commission for major projects all by yourself, which is technically impossible for the majority of vocations out there. So for today's topic, we will discuss the several first few steps of how to prepare for a career in architecture. The agenda of today's presentation will be first introduction to architecture, and then to trends in industry. Later we will discuss the path to practice in the US and also some of the top US undergraduate architecture program. The purpose of this presentation is first to inform and educate you about the architecture field and about the trends in the industry and also in undergraduate architecture education. Finally, this presentation will aim to help you choose programs by concentration, by your interests and background rather than overall ranking. And the ultimate purpose is to help you find the best fit for yourself. So what is architecture? It is at the interface of art and design, and it allows the practitioner to design environments for people to eat, work, live, and play. And the practitioner of this study, of this art and science, can transform these human need into concepts, and then develop the concept into building images that can be constructed by others. And an architect, on the other hand, is a licensed professional with specialized skills who design buildings and cityscapes and help make real the unique vision of their clients and communities. Like medical doctors, architects must protect the health, safety, and welfare of the general public, and thus must have license granted by the US states or territory in order to refer to oneself as an architect. Doing so otherwise is illegal. Let's look at the industry trends. Job outlook for architects in general for 2012-2022 is quite bright. For architects except landscape and naval, the rate of expansion, the rate of growth is about 17%. And surveyors and cartographers and architects in general, rate of growth is about 15%. This is about 40-50% higher than the overall growing rate of all occupations. So what do architecture students do usually after graduation? The big majority of them would work in private practice. A smaller but still significant portion of the student would pursue an advanced degree in architecture. Why do they need to do so? We will take a look in the moment at the two education track that architecture student can take and why there's a need for an advanced degree. A few portion of them would rather do something like pursuing advanced degree in something other than architecture, or work for a corporation. And 8.8% of them are still undecided. So there's some, hesitation or unsure about the future of some architecture students. Okay. Other industry trends includes the focus of architecture practitioner. Many of them are concerned with sustainability and climate change, and also the way to maintain design quality and integrated design. What do these focuses mean? This means that when they design building or when they run their own architecture firm, these are the factors that they pay attention to. For example, like when they design a building, since they are concerned with climate change and sustainability, they would design this building to be energy efficient, or to use green materials, recyclable and compostable materials. Let's look at other industry statistics. So, not to look at architecture with pink lenses, with to optimism, but although the bachelor in architecture salary and master in architecture salary are quite decent, I would say, for starting salary. Starting salary of these architects, the debt load is quite high, almost 75% of the salary, of the starting salary. However, once you practice for some times, then the wage is quite high. Like median annual wage here is like $73,000, whereas the top 10% can earn up to $126,000. This is a very high number, but I suspect that these top earners run their own firms or are like the top architects of some huge corporations. Let's now look at the path to become an architect. First, you need education. There are two paths for education, which we will discuss later. And then you need experience, which is called an intern development program that would last 3 years. And finally, you have to pass an exam, the Architect Registration Exam, ARE. So what are like the two education paths to become an architect? Here, you can see that the first one is to become a Bachelor of Architecture, which is a 5-year professional degree offered by 51 schools in the US as of 2011. And the other path is to follow a more traditional, more liberal, art-wise Bachelor of Art or Bachelor of Science in Architectural Design Studies. And after those 4 years spent on like this degree, you have to follow another 2 or 3 years to be to obtain a professional degree, a Master of Architecture. So let's see. So most schools will offer a pre-professional degree in architecture. So the option is open for students to pursue graduate studies down the line if they're not 100% committed to the field. So with BA or BS in architectural studies, you have more flexibility to pursue other career in the future, because if you're hesitated about your own interest and commitment, then I suggest BA or BS in architectural studies. That would save you like 1 year. Yes. So what's the difference between Bachelor of Art and Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Architecture? Yes. Like in more details. So for BA and BS, you would be exposed to more perspective, especially if you attend like a different school for your master in architectures, master of architectures. You would learn like different types of teaching methodologies. Would take advantage of different kind of facilities, resources, and faculty. And also, since you're not exactly committed to architecture, you have more time at hand to explore interests outside of architectures, and perhaps obtain more well-rounded education and more transferable, more applicable, widely applicable skills. But there's a downside to this, which means you have to spend another 2 to 3.5 years to get that Master of Architecture before you can practice in this field. Whereas the Bachelor of Architecture will allow you a quicker entry into the workforce, fewer expenses because you only spend money on 5 years instead of 4 plus 2 or even like plus 3.5 years. And this is a great choice for students who have strong interests and are willing to commit to the practice of architecture, because in this program you are mostly specialized in like learning architecture instead of obtaining a more comprehensive education with widely applicable and transferable skills. Let's see. So you can take a look here at like the typical schedule of Bachelor of Architecture coursework. In this example, it's from I think the Polytechnic University of California. Here, all these 5 years, you take mostly, like in your first year, you take 3 courses directly related to architecture, and 2 that are also somewhat indirectly related to architecture, calculus and physics, and only 1 general education course. And from second year onward, look, you only take architecture-related courses. Yes, all of them, architecture-related courses. So, yeah, it's a really specialized program. So now, let's take a look at like the difference between Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Art in architecture. For Bachelor of Science, you would, if you choose Bachelor of Science and Architecture degree option, you will pursue a more comprehensive and advanced study in architecture. You will study you take classes like architectural design studios. You study structured analysis and design together with specific architectural history, theory, and urban issues. And students receiving the Bachelor of Science in Architecture degree will usually be considered by a 2-year or 2.5-year Master of Architecture program. Whereas a Bachelor of Art degree is an even more, let's say, comprehensive and less specialized program than Bachelor of Science in Architecture. You would take many selected courses, work in architecture during your senior year, but you may also elect to devote the better part of your final year's coursework to further study in the College of Art and Science, so more general education classes. What's the downside of it? The downside of it is you are usually considered for 3 years Master of Architecture programs. So what this means is you have more flexibility, but you also have to spend more years in master degree, master level education later. So in terms of like timeline and the length of the education and the breadth of the specialization degree, the more you specialize in architecture, the fewer years you have to spend on learning it. So you study architecture most comprehensively and in shortest amount of time with Bachelor of Architecture. And then moving on, you spend less time on architecture with Bachelor of Science, and even less time with Bachelor of Arts. But the total length of education is more. Okay, let's see. So what are the other additional application requirements? This is for high school. For high school, there's usually no like strictly required courses, but university usually recommend you to take math and science courses like physics, calculus, statistics, and that's the highest level if possible. And it would really help if you study some humanity courses, to be able to express yourself much better, and also to study architecture in places that are most famous for it, like Spain and Italy and France. And finally, courses in design and art and architecture would be greatly helpful. And besides coursework, you also need to submit some portfolio for this school. Of the top 10 schools, only University of Texas in Austin, and something like Vermont and Auburn do not require portfolios. The general requirement for portfolios are as follows: 12 to 24 pieces of freehand drawings or painting sculptures, and they must not be like copies or imitation of existing works. And other kind of drawing or like CAD drafting here. So what makes a good candidate for undergraduate architecture program? I would use this quote here. They are looking for the ability to communicate through visual means, evidence of spatial cognitive capacity. So if these first two can be demonstrated through your portfolio, then they also look for the capacity to state directly and articulately the thought that are compelling to the candidate. This would be demonstrated through your application essay and interview. Finally, they also ask for a strong work ethic and a critical eye. This can be shown through your the course load and also application essay. Now let's take a look at the ranking. Although we do not strongly emphasize on the importance of ranking, it's still worth a look. So California Polytechnic University, it's in San Luis Obispo, ranked number 1, followed by Cornell, Rice, and University of Texas at Austin. And there's also like ranking per region in the states, as you can see here in the West, here in Midwest, South, East. And so if you have strong affinity for any of these regions, and you want to go to the top ranking programs, then you have your list here, which is very helpful. Okay, so let's take a look here. These are the skills that the collegiate program that hiring firms deem strongest in educating for each skill area. So this means that, let's say for communication, hiring firm think that graduates from Harvard University would be best at communicating themselves or communicating their ideas, the design to customers. Whereas here, sustainable design practices and principle, California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo is the best. So if you want, to receive a best ranking education in how to design sustainable buildings, for example, then go to California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo. For today's presentation, we will discuss 5 programs. The first ones come from California Polytechnic University in San Luis Obispo. Although you can see here the selectivity is quite high, the number is somewhat ambiguous because it's suspectful, I would say, because it's here selected and enrolled. So in reality, this number might be higher because some student might get accepted but chose not to enroll. Okay, let's see. And here are some of the features of the college and the architecture departments. Just the regular features that you would see on any college website. However, there's this one feature, the Architecture Dean Survey. The second program, Cornell University Architecture, Art and Planning, the selectivity is somewhat lower than the dubious number from California Polytechnic University in San Luis Obispo. Here it's 16%, so about triple that of the other school. Here's the program overview. All students spend the first 3 years following a core curriculum designed to lay a strong foundation for architectural education and beyond. Then, during the final 4th semester, students are encouraged to work across discipline, focusing on an intellectually rigorous and speculative course of study. So this is a 5-year program, as you can see. We can see here final 4th semester. So this is Bachelor of Architecture. 10 semesters of design studios are required and is a focal point of every semester. Basic conceptual skill elements of architecture communicate ideas through models and graphics. Courses in history and drawing history, representation, theory, technology complement rest of the program. And here, this is the special feature of this program is students spend 1 semester of their 3rd year in Rome and also have the opportunity to study at AAP's New York City program. This program is admired for its historically strong curriculum integrating design, technology, and theory. The third program, University of Texas at Austin, 9.5% admission rate. It does not require SAT2 math, and it offers a wide range of courses of degree here: Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Science in Architectural Studies, Bachelor of Architecture, and Bachelor of Science in Architectural Engineering, and finally Bachelor of Architecture and Bachelor of Art in Plan 2, 5-year plus summer. So if you are strongly committed to both engineering and architecture, this 6-year program with Bachelor of Architecture and BS in Architectural Engineering would be your best choice. And I don't think that any other program offers this this kind of degree. And according to the Architecture Dean Survey, this program is admired for students and focus on practice and sustainable design in the program. Well, with attention paid on to architectural engineering, it's a reasonable comment. The fourth program that we're discussing is at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. This program is special because it does not require portfolio, just like University of Texas at Austin, and it does not require any high school art or architecture classes. However, it recommends students to take Spanish and Italian in high school. The admission decision is based primarily on GPA, SAT, and ACT. So let's look at the program overview. In first year, you study basic element of design. In second and third year, you study introduction to architecture, focus on fundamentals realized artistically and practically. Emphasis on intellectual discipline. So these are the areas of focus of second and third year. Whereas in the fourth and fifth years, so this is also Bachelor of Architecture. In the fourth and fifth years, you participate in one of 4 off-campus programs and take advanced independent study, which culminate in a terminal, so like thesis project. So according to Architecture Dean Survey, it's admired for its emphasis on research, innovative pedagogy, and design rigor. The final program is Cooper Union. The curriculum of this program stresses the importance of architecture as a humanistic discipline concerned with the design and construction of habitats in diverse social and ecological conditions, and their corresponding requirements for sustainability and ethical responsibility. And here you can see the courses and topics of each year throughout the program. According to the Architecture Dean Survey, it's admired for its design-focused education, value, and location because it's located in New York City, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the end of our presentation today. So hopefully, with this quite brief description of some of the top-ranking architecture program, undergraduate architecture program in the US, we hope that you would find the program that best fit your interests and strength and career aspiration. This chart here is quite important, I believe, for your decision.